All right, and we will go ahead and get started with Ade Ogundeji. Ade, your first question is going to be from Allison Hayes.
Hi, Ade.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. So you may or may not know who this little boy is, but last year, through the Fighting Irish Fight for Life program, there was a little boy named JoJo, and that was his nickname, Pearson Salt. And he became an honorary member of the Notre Dame football team, and as he was been battling cancer. Well, this season, his cancer has come back and he's kind of going through it all again and really fighting. And I was just wondering if maybe you could give him some words of encouragement to help him along.
Absolutely. I just want to say on the bottom of my heart that I'm praying for him and that you just got to keep fighting. First and foremost, his fight and his determination of pushing this team and fighting for his team. And I want him to know that Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team, not only the football team, but every single fan and community member is rooting for him to continue to fight and pursue, go forward.
Great. Thank you.
And we'll go next to Tyler James.
Hey, Ade, with it being senior day this weekend, do you get the chance to think about how far this program has come since your freshman year and how far you have come since your freshman year?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a very long journey. I've been very blessed to be in this position with so many guys who came through here. Definitely through my first year, it was a struggle, but, we've just continued to got better as a team and myself have continued to got better. I think that's what it comes down to in life, growth throughout the whole time. So I think that it was a great time for me, and I'm happy to just be around the great people and people I'm going to be with for life.
We'll go next to Doug Farmer.
Ade, in a similar vein, looking back a year ago, you may have already had your mind made up then that you were coming back for this fifth year. You had some expectations, I'm sure, for what this fifth year would be. How was it held up against those? I'm sure there's been positives and negatives this season compared to what you were hoping for.
Wait, repeat that. I'm sorry.
You may have known a year ago on senior day you were coming back for this fifth season. How was it held up to what you may have expected from this final go round, bigger role for you and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy experience. Obviously with COVID and all that, but I think it's been so far so great. I'm blessed to even be playing right now, with everything going on. Just to be playing right now is a blessing. But it's been an amazing time to be around the young guys and to also be around the veterans out here, all the fifth years. So it's just been a great time, and I appreciate every moment that we have. And I just continue to go throughout the whole time and continue to take every moment and just have fun with it.
We'll go next to Tim O'Malley.
Ade, your freshman year with the program struggling and you sitting and kind of watching some of the other defensive ends in your class play, how did you kind of get through that? You also lost your defensive line coach. I know you were obviously familiar with Coach Elson, but you really had a lot of change for a guy not playing. How did you adjust and who got you through that?
Yeah, I would first say that, it was a struggle watching the guys play in front of me. Obviously, when you got 4 defensive ends in the class and you're the one sitting, it kind of is a little different. But, I just took that and used it as motivation for myself and to try to push myself to be able to get on the field and make a play. I just think all those guys, Dalen, Julian, Lid, Jameer, all those guys were helping me get better every single day. We worked together to work our craft all the time during the summer and during the off season. And so we worked on to getting better, and we knew that, sometime our opportunity was going to get called. So I think that was what really helped me and led me to become successful throughout the 4 years that I've been here.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Yeah, in the 3 years that you've been seemingly playing snaps in the D-line and playing a lot, you guys have been obviously very good defending the run, but at least the numbers would say that this year's been the best. What have you noticed that's different or that much better that's allowed you guys to go from already really good there to a level even higher?
Yeah, first of all, we got some great veteran guys who are out there playing with us. When you get 4 seniors playing on a defensive line, it definitely will help. But then you just got the technique. We've been in the system for a very long time with Kurt and Myron and Dalen, and even the younger guys have been in the system for a while. So you understand what's going on, not only what you're doing on a defensive line, but what the linebackers are doing, and then also kind of what the corners are doing. So it's important for us to understand the whole defense and play out. And then also, you know, you got the young guys going out here playing physical and going out and learning to play back at a fast developing time. So I think all of us have been learning the plays and understanding it at a fast pace and also understanding what the second level does as well.
We'll go next to Lou Emoji.
Hi, Adi. Originally, you had committed to Western Michigan, and it's kind of a not quite at Notre Dame's level as far as expectations and national renown, even though they were undefeated that one specific year. When you first got here, did you wonder whether maybe, that you had made a decision that maybe you bit off more than you could chew, or was that just further motivation?
No, I mean, once Notre Dame offered me, I knew that I was able to play here. I don't think I ever, stuttered or ever thought that, I couldn't be here and play here. Obviously, that was a blessing for Western Michigan to offer me, but when Notre Dame offered me, I had an expectation that they offered me for a reason, and I took that expectation and tried to go with it. I never thought it was, that they thought I was too little or this or that. So, I don't think I ever thought it was a lesser thing. And I always came here thinking that they wanted me, and I always came here thinking that I could play here and play at a high level.
We'll go next to George Bashura.
Hey, Ade. Two questions for you. The first question is going to be, back in 2018, there was a lot of promises or commitments from the seniors of that class, and after the Cotton Bowl, they said they wanted to leave the program in a better spot. The first part of my question is, what do you want to leave for the next set of Notre Dame football players? And two is, what is the difference between the 2018 team and now?
Yeah, on your first question, I think, for me, I just want to tell them that, our goal is still the same. Our goal has always been the same, and that's graduating seniors and winning a national championship. I think that's a vocal point. That's where it starts, And in order to get that, it takes, the proper steps to get to that process. So I think that's the biggest part of that, and making sure that you go through that process and you understand that you might not be able to play the first year or the second year, but you have to continue to go through that process in order to graduate and win a national championship. And the second question, I think there's some different things, there's some different schemes that we did differently in that 2018 season. But for the most part, I feel like we kind of have the same skill set. We kind of have the same guys. We just understand it better, When you've been in the when you got a lot of guys who's been in the program for 4 years who understand the playbook, you can get a better grasp of what's going on. So I think that's the differences from the 2 years.
We have a question via the chat from Todd Burlage. He's asking, is there one moment after the 2016 season that you remember changing the course and attitude of this program?
Repeat it again?
Sure. He's asking if there's a moment after the 2016 season that you remember changing the course or the attitude of this program.
I would say after the season when Bayless came along, I think that was just a big turning point for us because, he brought in a discipline to our team, but also a strength and conditioning and mental side of it too. So I think when we had that new staff and new change, we all knew that, this is a new program. We're going to go somewhere that we haven't been before, and we're going to push ourselves like we haven't pushed ourselves before.
We'll go next to Mark Skoll.
Hey, Ade, two questions for you. One, what stands out to you about the Syracuse offense? And two, obviously you've been here throughout this Notre Dame home winning streak. What does that mean for you, and what's been the key for you guys winning at home all of these years?
Oh, yeah, on the first question, Syracuse has a great offense. They do a lot of good things right. They've been in a lot of games for most of the season. So they're a very good team. They play hard. They really go throughout the whistle. They got great receivers who are fast and quick. Their O-line is pretty steady at the point of attack. And so they do a lot of great things right on offense. And then number two, to win at home, you got to have the energy at home. You got to protect the house all the time. And I think for us, we always make that a part of the season before the season. We always talk about protecting the house and understanding that when we go out there in that stadium, that it's our house and we got to protect it at all times.
We'll go next to Tim O'Malley.
Hey, Ade, just to follow up on something that Coach Kelly said on Monday, that at some point during the season, you guys kind of sat down and realized that your work volume and your reps were a lot more than you had when you were backing up Khalid. How did you adjust to that to play your best ball at the end?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, before last year, I was behind Liz, so I wasn't getting as much rest as I was now. So it was a different pace, that I wasn't used to. So I had to get used to it. So then I realized that in practice, I have to go twice as hard as I usually do because I'm going to be in the game twice as more. So just for me, I had that attitude in practice that I had to keep going. I had to bring it 100% every single time. Even in the individual drills, I had to continue to work hard and push myself so that when it's game time, I don't have to worry about that. So
We'll go next to Tyler James.
Hey, Ade, will you have family members at the game? And if so, what will it mean to kind of spend some time with them after the game and celebrate this?
Yeah, I have my family with me during the game, and I think it's just so much. They've done, my mom and dad, and my brother have done so much for me. I mean, they've been there every step of the way. Even the struggling times, they've always been there. Even, in high school, they've been there. So, I mean, this is going to be an emotional time for me. I'm blessed to have them right there by my side and always been there for me. So it's going to be a emotional and great time for me.
We have another question via the chat from Todd Burlage. You talked a couple years ago about how a visit as a youngster back to Nigeria changed your outlook on life and family. Would you readdress what this trip was like and what it meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, the trip going back to meet family was an incredible moment for me because, most of my family are in Nigeria. So getting to understand, the family aspect and what it's about. And just understanding that, living in Nigeria, there's a lot of different things that is from Nigeria to America, and everything is kind of worked for, And so when I went there, there was a big thing on, working and grinding and getting everything by working. And so I think that was a big thing for me going there. And I learned a lot over there and used that to my advantage here in America. So.
We'll go next to Allison Hayes.
The PA announcer, Mike Collins, is going to be retiring after many, many, many years calling the games inside Notre Dame Stadium. This will be his last game at home as well. Do you actually hear any of that when you're on the field pregame or during the game? Can you hear his voice? And if so, just kind of what has that meant to you as being a player at Notre Dame as part of the experience?
Yeah, I've heard his voice. I think it means a lot, hearing his voice, you understand about the game and that this game is about to start. So I think hearing his voice has been a special moment. And, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you for everything that he's done.
All right, and there are no more questions we have in the queue, so you are all set, Ade.
Appreciate it.
We'll continue in a few moments with Marist Leofau. So if you do have a question, please go ahead and raise your hand. All right, and we will continue with you, Marist. Your first question is from Tom Noy.
Marist, when you're maybe not playing as many reps defensively as you wanted, what allowed you to kind of stay patient with the process and know that eventually it might come back around the way it did against North Carolina?
Really just staying positive, thinking good things, and always saying prayers and just staying focused on what I can control, because obviously I can't tell coach to put me in when I want to, but it's just focusing on bettering myself whenever I can during practice, off the field too, whether it's studying the playbook as well. I just try to focus on the things I can control.
We'll go next to Tim Priester.
Maris, I just wonder what your adjustment has been like on the college level to the buck linebacker position. And I believe that you were at Rover earlier in your career at Notre Dame. What were the difficulties maybe of adjusting to that position?
I think one of the main things adjusting from Rover to Buck was just the mental aspect of it, just getting to know my fits, where I gotta be when there's run, where I gotta be there's pass. That was like the main thing moving over to Buck.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Hey, Marist, in looking at the buck position where it's kind of been all three of you guys having your moments where you've stood out, kind of describe the the relationship and the competitive situation between you and Shane and Jack that's kind of allows you to seemingly push each other?
Man, first of all, those two are great guys, and we all have a really tight bond. We're all obviously we push each other to make plays, and it's always respect and love from each other. There's never anything bad between us.
We'll go next to Doug Farmer.
Marist, on a similar track, there are points when you're watching film with the guys in the linebacker room and you think, oh, Shane or Jack will match up against this particular look a little bit better than I do, or vice versa?
I don't tend to think like I try to just think how I could apply myself in a situation, just because I never want to think of myself as unable to do something. But like I said, these are all great guys in our linebacker room, and I know that every one of us could execute when the time comes.
We love you, Maris.
We'll go next to Tyler James.
Hey, Maris. The North Carolina offense is pretty good and complex, and probably wasn't an easy offense to play against. Why was that the offense that you had so much success against?
I can't tell you exactly why, but I just know one thing that went through what happened during the game was I felt really comfortable. I felt just like I was playing free. I had a lot of fun, and like my reasoning when I looked around is to do it for the guys around me, and that really motivated me to want to play my hardest.
We'll go next to Austin Hough.
Maris, who's trying to distract you back there?
Oh, that was Wu, Jeremiah, and Litchfield, Ajwan.
All right, I'll ask a real question now, I guess, too. Syracuse is obviously having a difficult year overall. When you're trying to play them, is the motivation factor there because you still can clinch an ACC championship game appearance? I guess, how do you try to avoid the quintessential trap game here this week?
Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of rambled there. I apologize. Just how do you try to avoid the quote unquote trap game mentality going against them this week?
Like every week, we have a similar approach, or that similar approach. We take every team very seriously, and we focus on our preparation and keeping that consistent every week, and not changing it because of a specific team.
We will circle back to Tom Noy.
Marist, when did it feel different for you the other day at North Carolina? Like you're out there, maybe not as uptight. You're out there making plays, running around. Like when was it? When did it kind of flip for you that game?
I'd say around when I probably had my first tackle. I think I felt very confident and just felt like a hunger to get more.
We'll go next to Lou Emoji.
Marist, Coach Kelly indicated earlier this week that the skill sets of you, Shane, Jack, kind of complement each other. Where do you feel your skill set? What do you feel most comfortable with, and where you can help the most, and what you feel you want to continue to improve in?
Um, One thing I think about myself is, especially coming from Hawaii, and I feel like we have that chip on our shoulder as Hawaii players. And like one thing we pride ourselves in is being physical, flying around the field and just hitting people and just having fun while playing. And I feel like that can be evident at times.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Hey, Maris, when you guys were doing game prep and watching North Carolina's offense on film and facing their stuff going against the scout team, were you kind of thinking that, like, yeah, this would be a game and they do some stuff that I can really, really help defend, even after a game where you only played a handful of snaps at BC?
Yeah, so like I said, every week we try to take, I just try to shift my mindset to this new team. What can I do for to help the team, and how can I prepare to put myself in the right place for this next team we're playing.
We have a question via the chat from Todd Burlage. He's asking, classes are done and you will have some isolation time during the next several weeks. How do you plan to stay busy and occupied during your downtime, especially that you can't really go anywhere for entertainment?
Well, so usually we're having to balance school and football, obviously, but now it's a lot of football. I have a lot of time to watch film. I have a lot of time to really study who I'm going to play, who we're playing this week, Syracuse, obviously, but individual players and how they play and just like everything down to the detail.
We will go next to Tim Priester.
Maris, you talk about your physicality. Who helped develop that for you as you were becoming a football player? And I wonder if you came under the instruction of Alohi Gilman's father, Asai, at any point during your development.
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of guys helped me, including Coach Asai, Alohi's dad. Got to train with him back at home. Just like I said, growing up in Hawaii, we really have we pride ourselves in bringing physicality to our game, and yeah.
We'll go next to Tyler James.
Maris, what's been the biggest adjustment you've had to make from that transition from high school in Hawaii to college here in South Bend, whether it's on the field or off the field? What's been the sort of the biggest hurdles you've had to get through, and how have you been able to do that?
I think having to adjust to the speed of the game, having to adjust my work ethic. There's a lot of great guys on the team, hardworking guys that really motivate me and inspire me to push myself even harder, because I know that things won't come easy, and you have to really earn every rep that you're given.
And we will circle back to Tyler James if he still has a question.
Yeah, Maris, I'm curious how you handle the cold weather.
Oh, cold weather. It was a rough first winter last year, but I think overall I'm adjusting to it pretty well.
All right, and we will wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Maris.
All right, thank you.
All right, and we will continue this evening with Kyren Williams. So if you do have a question, please go ahead and raise your hand. Kyren, your first question will be from George Bashura.
Hey, Kyren. You continue to get those bully yards, as you call them, against your opponents. How does it feel getting later into the season that you could still be as aggressive as you were at the beginning of the season?
That's huge. That kind of speaks to my recovery. I started to get treatment a lot more. I started to go every day, no matter what it is I'm working on. I just try to get something. I try to work on something so that I stay on that top tier shape, as you talked about from the beginning of the season. But I'm just trying to keep playing the football that I've been playing since I started playing football. That's just that hard-nosed downhill football, physicality. So no matter what it is, no matter where I'm at, I just try to play like that every game, every single down.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Hey, Kyren, you go against the first team defense, I take it, in practice most weeks. And in particular, I'm sure you've seen from in the games how they've done defending the run. What do you notice that just makes those guys so hard to run on?
They're ball swarmers. They're all over. They're ball hunters. They're all over the field looking for that ball. So no matter who it is, Drew, Woo, Shane, even the D linemen and the safeties, I feel like they're ball hoggers. It's hard to bust one on them. When you do, you got to go. You really got to take off and make sure you get as much yards as you can, because you don't know when the next chance that's going to be. So I just feel like on defense, we got a lot of physical players that just love the game.
We'll go next to Lou Emoji.
Kyren, as a senior, you ran for over 2,000 yards. You caught 55 passes. What is it that enabled you to become the blocker that you have? Because that's always generally the biggest adjustment for top high school running backs, is the knowledge that, okay, I got to protect others here too. What was instilled in you to be so effective in that role?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for young running backs coming into college is confidence. It's the same person lined up against you across from you. It's the same person that he bleeds the same blood that you bleed. So I feel like just having that confidence to pass blocking is huge. Obviously you're going to be going against people that are bigger than you, but you can't look at it like that. You got to have the bigger heart, no matter how small or how big you are. But just breaking down the pass blocking, for me, I really just look at pass blocking as like if I'm guarding somebody in basketball. I just try to stay low, moving my feet, and not let them run through me. So when I'm doing that, and you got to work your hands too. You got to have really good hands and be able to lock on that person. So, just going through all that takes definitely practice. And like I said, confidence is the biggest thing.
We'll go next to Carter Carls.
Kyren, how did you, or I guess where were you when you found out that LeBron James gave you a shout out on Twitter, and what your reaction was from that? And then just kind of big picture, going from where you were last year to where you are now and getting that kind of attention, what ways has your life just changed, day to day, week to week, from the attention you get and just, I guess, maybe how you're treated and how people respond to you? How is it different than last year?
So to answer your first question about the LeBron tweet, I was running in from the game when everybody in the locker room started coming up to me talking about how LeBron tweeted about me, blah blah blah, all of that. So I was shocked. I went to go look, and he did. It was a really big blessing from that's my superhero as a kid, and as of right now, just seeing the way everybody looks at him and how he's changing the world. It's something I'll never forget, and I'll always be grateful for. And to answer your second question, kind of about like the attention that I'm getting, I don't really try to focus on that type of attention. I really try to see myself as if I'm the same person I was last year. But just one year difference has been huge. I never would have guessed where I'm at right now. It talks to like the work I put in through quarantine, the 6 months that we went through away from here, and the dedication. Just made sure that no matter what it was, that if I put this work in, that no one's gonna outwork me. So just having that mentality and coming through this, it's been helpful.
We'll go next to Allison Hayes.
Hi, Kyren. So there is a little boy that you may or may not know or remember him exactly, but last season he was an honorary team member as part of the Fighting Irish Fight for Life program. His name is JoJo, and he was battling cancer throughout his life. And this year it has come back. He's fighting again. And I was just wondering if you could give him some words of encouragement to help him with his fight.
Yeah. Hey, JoJo, it's Kyren here. I just want to let you know that us and the Notre Dame family, we're thinking about you, and we want you to know that just keep staying strong and keep going, because God's got you and everything's gonna be okay. I hope you get well soon.
We'll go next to Mark Skoll.
Kyren, in your first game this season, you really burst onto this scene, and it just seems like you've exponentially grown in your game throughout the year. Where have you seen the biggest development in your game over the season? Where do you think you've improved the most? And two, Team MJ or Team LeBron? Who's the GOAT?
Yeah, well, I'll answer the second question first. I'm definitely Team LeBron, no matter what it is, no matter what situation it is, no matter what team LeBron is on. I'm a LeBron fan. I would never root for the team, and if I don't like them. But the Lakers, they're a cool team. So I like the Lakers mostly only because of LeBron. But what I feel like I overcame and what I've gotten better on from this past year, I feel like it's just my game overall. I've been able to work on my speed, my cuts, my body. I've been able to get my body in position to where I can withstand these long games and take all of these shots and just keep on going. So it's mentally, nothing's really changed for me ever since I started playing this game. It's been the same game, but physically, a lot of things have changed that has helped me get to where I'm at now.
We'll go next to Tim O'Malley.
Aaron, I want to take you back to facing your own defense. Who has hit you the hardest, if you can go back the last 2 years, and who do you consider the toughest guy one-on-one in space? I know you do a lot of drills one-on-one and, of course, scrimmages as well.
Kyle is definitely the toughest dude one-on-one because his length, because he's so lengthy in that when you try to make a move and he does break on that first move, that his body, like he's so long and tall that he's able to either dive and still get you. So I definitely think breaking down Kyle in space is the hardest person to do. But I think the hardest hitter, I think definitely has to be Drew White, because Drew, I remember last year, Drew popped me last year on scout team. So I definitely remember that.
We'll go next to Loose Emoji.
Kyren, you talked about your just ability to and stamina throughout the game, and as the season progresses, to still have that endurance. It looks like, you played full time on defense too. You don't usually see that with star running backs in high school. I think you had 92 tackles, 8 interceptions. How much did just seemingly never coming off the field help with you, both the physicality and with the endurance part of football?
Yeah, it's been my whole life. I've never, until college, I've never really came off the field on both sides of the ball. So I feel like just that's something I've always been used to. And this is like the first year that's really not happening, but for obvious reasons, now that we're in college. But I just feel like, just being on the field all day, all game in the previous has definitely helped me in my endurance, because I'm always running no matter what it is. But now that I'm not on the field as much, our Coach Bayless and their staff make sure that's not a factor. Just because you're not on the field doesn't mean you shouldn't be tired. So I feel like with the workouts we do now has really helped my endurance. And then I know during camp I was running gassers after practice as well, just to keep on improving my endurance.
We'll go next to Carter Carls.
Kyren, you've talked about that confidence you had and that just the energy that you seem to bring, like personality wise. Where do you think that confidence, that energy comes from? Maybe when you found that growing up, and just, I guess, if that was something that you got from your parents or just something that you innately had?
I think it's a little bit of both. My parents have always taught me to be a leader and to always lead and never follow others. And I feel like ever since I've been playing sports, I've always had that natural ability to lead no matter what it is. People just, they look on to me to bring that energy and that juice. So I feel like every day now at Notre Dame that I have to bring that juice. I have to bring that energy for everybody. And then from there, that's contagious. You know, confidence is contagious. Once you see one person with confidence, it's hard to look at your brother and not be confident when he's confident. So I've definitely just, and that's one thing my parents, like, again, my parents have always told me to have confidence, not just in myself, because they've always told me there's nobody better than me. So if like I said earlier, that if I just keep working, there's nobody that outworks me. So just having that confidence that you can't be stopped and won't be stopped that's just where I'm at right now.
We'll go next to Tyler James.
Hey, Kyren, I don't know, I might be breaking the news about this to you, but the ACC just announced that the regular season for you guys will end this week and the Wake Forest game won't be played. And that means you guys have clinched a spot in the ACC championship game. What's your reaction to that? What does it mean for you to know that you guys get to play for an ACC championship for sure now?
I mean, it's crazy because, you know, you come to Notre Dame, you don't think you're going to play in any conference games, nothing. But now, look, we're in the ACC conference championship for the first time in Notre Dame history and the first time ever in my career. So, you know, this is the goal we as a team we've been preaching on since we joined the ACC, that we were going to come in here and we were going to come compete for ACC championship no matter what it was. So I feel like that now that we're at that goal, or not yet, we still got Syracuse, but now that we can see that goal in the future, that we just can't forget that we still got to we can't forget that we still got to keep working to get to that goal. We haven't accomplished anything yet.
Our next question is via the chat from Todd Burlage. With classes being done, you'll have some more isolation time, he says, during the next several weeks. How do you plan to stay busy during your downtime, especially with not as many places to go for entertainment?
With classes being out, that's just it. With classes being out, I feel like that's just the best thing as a football player here at Notre Dame, because, you know, there's classes, they're really hard, but now that they're gone, we're able to be in the building more. I know personally that I've been able to go to treatment every day, no matter, like, I'm not even hurt, just working on my body. Like I said earlier, just keeping up that my physical condition so that I'm able to keep going. But, you know, just focusing more on football and everything all around football is just the biggest blessing that as a football player you could ask for.
All right, and we will wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Kyren.
Thank you.